This is going to be fun. It's going to be satisfying. You're going to learn a lot out of it. And if you're wondering what chords go together, we're going to help demystify that. We're also going to talk about like the fun part of how your ear, your inner ear, and what you listen to connects to your brain and connects to your hands and your fingers. Wow. In fact, I'm going to doodle my way through this because that helps me relax, helps me unwind, just like the doggies. They're able to have a great little nap here after our morning groggy doggy wet walk out there. Okay, so this might be kind of crazy, but let's imagine your ear, and sorry, bear with it. I'm gonna draw an ear right there. Oh, that's a terrible ear. It's got like a B in there. I don't know why. But so that's an ear, right? Your ear listens. Duh. Your ear knows what it likes. It just knows. And your ear is number one because everyone's out there listening all the time to music and they may or may not ever pick up a guitar. And that's not the point. It really is like we know what we like and what we love, and that's what gets us into this mess of trying to learn a guitar. Get ready for this. Boom. All right, let's say this is a brain, okay? That's a brain, if I ever did see a brain. The brain can analyze. It's good at finding patterns. It's good at letters and numbers, right? And seeing shapes. So what's handy about the brain, and we need to feed it this information, is that as we try to learn the guitar, sometimes it's really good to dig into like, all right, what is a C triad? Oh, it's a C, an E, and a G, and feeding it some of that stuff that is like what the brain can really help us out with. Because then when it comes to, wait for it, the fingers, oh God, whatever. That's kind of a hand. These are like the athletes. They can do things with muscle memory, right? And when they can, they work on instinct. And that is when your hands know better than you do. That brain looks horrible, I'm sorry. It's when you can just find it with your hands. And we know that frustration where it's like, I kind of know in my head, or I sort of hear it in my head, but I can't. You got to put in the reps. So you put in the reps to train the fingers. The absolute time in the gym and just get the repetition in. And then when you start to do that, just as an example, let's play on your side of the screen, play all of the A chords that you can find. Whether you play a regular open A, play triads, play the bar chord. And as you go to reach for all those different versions of an A chord, or even if you just got the one, I would be willing to bet that whatever the first A chord that you go to grab, it's almost like your hands went there without you, having to ask. Your first instinct is what your fingers are showing you, okay? And then when we try to train more information in, we've got to work on it a little bit, like just with the letters and the numbers and the shapes, and we'll get into some of that stuff today. But the ideal thing that you want is for all three of these things to be working together and really looking like the beautiful picture that I just drew. You want it to be exactly like that. Because then you'll hear something and you're not playing it, you hear it on the radio or you hear it on Spotify or something, and you're nowhere near your instrument and you didn't write it, but you just know with your ear, it's like, I recognize that because you've been putting in the work to connect it to your hands, connect it to the theory. And that's when you're really cooking with gas, is when you have those three levels talking to each other. So the thing that I was doodling a while ago is this. That's a preview of where we're going, but I want to build it from scratch. And let's, for this, diving into this Tim Talk portion of the proceedings, let's think about C major, okay? So what you're seeing right there, you might understand some of it, none of it, or feel a little bit like, oh, it makes me think of Watermelon Hubba Bubba or something, which it does for me, which I like. So I'm going to turn that off and I'm going to rebuild it basically. Let's think C, C major, C. And I'm just talking C major, the scale. So on your side of the screen, I want you to play a C major scale if you know it. And just play one octave. And just spell it out. Just literally those letters. So just single notes like C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then you can resolve it to C. So those are just the single notes. There's only 7 of them in a major scale. That's great. Like it really limits the options in a good way. These are the 7 sort of crayons in the box, and that is a major scale. It happens to be C. And what's great about that is that there's no sharps or flats, so it's a really good key to just sort of mess with. Okay, you may know this, but chords are just built from grabbing one note and then skipping. So to build a C major chord, the C major triad, we start at the C and then we just leapfrog. We just skip, whoop, whoop. That's how we get it. So if we were to just sort of grab those, that's a C major. We play the same game. How do we spell the chord that starts on D? We just grab a D and whoop, whoop, DFA. What is that? Oh, that's a D minor triad. And if we continued that game, E, G, B, boom, boom. Okay, I'll spell that out. That's E, G, and B. That happens to be an E minor triad. And then when you hit one that goes off the end, you just continue. You just skip the B and then you hit the C. You continue with that. G, B, D. So G, skip a letter, then you skip the C. You get the idea, right? This just sort of results in these little 3-note groups. And honestly, today I want you to treat it like I'm just sort of the messenger. By no means did I come up with this. I don't know who did, whether it was like Pythagoras or Mozart's uncle. See, I used that little off-the-cuff joke, Mozart's uncle, in the previous stream that you didn't see. But I like it, so I kept it. Anyway, I'm just relaying to you like how these patterns emerged. Somehow the notes of a scale got divided into these letters. They chose to use letters. Sometime at some point they're like, well, how do we harmonize it? I don't know. I don't know why they got to this, but they just skipped every other, and here we are. So it results in these patterns and these groups. So what if you were to treat just like you have a single note, like C is the first note of the C major scale. Well, then C, E, G is the first. Boom. That's like one thing. That's the first triad. That's the first chord of where we're headed next. So what we have up till now is a major scale, right? That is what a major scale looks like. So I wrote it in white because the notes of a major scale are there. And then what I wrote in pink would be as if we just took a major scale and harmonized it. Harmony being like other notes that go with, that follow along. So imagine 3 people singing together, singing in harmony. Each one of those singers has a different note that agrees with the other ones. They're resonant and they work. And again, these are only coming from this 7-note crayon set. We're not choosing from anything outside of it. And what that means, since we're limiting ourselves to just this set of choices, and here's maybe a word you haven't heard, don't worry, learning is fun. Diatonic. The word diatonic just means what I just said. It means like we're only using those notes from the major scale to choose from. As a result, we get some things that you may have heard about or seen, and let's just sort of spell it out. So that one, that first note, is a 1 chord, and I'm doing a capital M to abbreviate for major. Yes, they're making a chord with their voices, right, Wade? Yeah, so these are chords, and this is 3-part harmony. And triads really are the elements of the chords. Those three notes are the only three notes you need to spell out a C major chord, right? So we got, and I'm using Roman numerals because that's how I was taught, and it works for me. We'll also use the regular Arabic numerals below, and it's whatever works for you. But whenever I see the Roman numerals, my mind thinks in terms of chords and harmony, and that helps. And I'll do a lowercase m here to be like, oh, that D chord is minor. I know it because D, F, and A, the D to an F is like, you can analyze it, or you can just kind of be like, oh, this is just what happens when you do this. So I'll keep going here. This is a minor. F, A, and C creates a major triad. So that's a major, and that's the 4 chord. G, B, and D makes a major triad. That's the 5 chord. A, C, and E makes a minor triad. That's the 6 chord. And then the 7th chord is kind of the outlier. That's the diminished one. And is this making sense thus far? Give me a thumbs up or just a happy emoji of your choice. So just to kind of like spell this out as an example, C, E, G right there. So these are our triads, right? So this comes from a C major bar chord right there, and then the triads we've been working hard on. Right there, it's that particular triad. So that's C, E, G, D, F, A, E, G, B, 3rd chord, it's minor, F, A, C, it's the 4th chord, it's major, G, B, D, it's the 5th chord, it's major, and I'm going off the map there, the dots are just going off the fretboard, A, C, E, that's minor, and then that last one is kind of the tricky one, that's the diminished. But don't even worry about the diminished so much. I mean, you can know that it's there, and that's what happens on the 7th degree of the scale. But hopefully that's helping, just sort of like, this is brain stuff right now. This is not ear stuff. This is not necessarily finger stuff, although it is kind of nice to spell this out. Did you notice as I'm doing this, if you've been working on your triads, we're just using 2 different triad shapes just over and over. And of course you can, after you get that dialed in, you could do it in different spots, but you see how we can limit these things and in a good way, just be like, oh, now I'm just asking my fingers to do one of 2 different shapes. And that's just kind of interesting. As a helpful side note here, and I won't go way off into the weeds on this thing, but I think a lot of people also wonder, when can I use a 7 chord? I heard about a major 7 chord. I learned a dominant 7 chord or the flat 7. When and where does that come into the picture? Well, I got good news for you, friend. We just continue the pattern. And I'm just going to sort of scribble this and then I'll erase it because I don't want us to get too hung up in thinking about extended harmony. But just so you know, if we did this C, E, G, can anyone tell me what note would I add to make it a C major 7? So we've got a C, E, G, that's a C major triad. That's our meat and potatoes. What would make it a C major 7? Like if you see a song that has C major 7 in it, what's the note that's being added to that triad to make it so? B, correct. Now, can you see that it just continued the leapfrog game? It just did it one more time. Ta-da, that's 4-part harmony. And 4-part harmony is the sort of academic way of saying, oh, that's how we get a C major 7. And just to make it more fun, chord symbols are crazy, right? You'll see it as a triangle sometimes. You'll see it as, major 7, just written out like that, yada, yada, yada. But if we continue that game, again, just leapfrogging, D, F, A, skip that one, and then you come back around. So we skip the B, so they're not side by side. We just continue doing the leapfrog game, right? And it would go on and on down the line. F, A, C, E, G, B, D, F, A, ba, 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 B, D, F, A. And this would be major 7, minor 7, minor 7, blah, blah, blah. And you would go on down the line, and that's how you would get the resulting 4-part harmony. And that's why, the 5 chord. Again, I'm not asking you to like know this and absorb it today. It's more like, oh, just so you know, that's why that G7 is G7, because GBDF equals a G7 chord. So the reoccurring theme, we're going to take a little breather and just sort of the reoccurring theme. That's what your head looks like when you got all this stuff going around inside of it. I don't even know if I can turn that off or whatever. I'll just do this. Ew. The reoccurring theme. Can I remember what the reoccurring theme is? Is that you have this internal logic to it where it begins and ends with a major scale. You follow these certain rules and then boom, these things result. And so the result of that is that you get a major scale that has been harmonized. And then you're like, oh, so this isn't just coming from anywhere. Have you ever noticed that, like, within a major scale, certain notes feel like they want to do certain things? And by that, I mean, if we're in C, and we're just sort of playing the sort of just use your ear kind of game, like, if we do the do, re, mi, do, do, I'll try to go lower. Do, do, re, mi, re, do, 1, 2, da, 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 da. Like those melodies and those lines, those phrases, boom, da, da, bam, boom, that kind of wants to fall back down to the 1, just as a single note. Well, what if we stacked the triad on that, just like we had before? The C, E, G would be. So if we stack the triad on that G note, we would get a G chord. Oh, well, that kind of wants to go back to that 1 chord. And that's where the internal logic pays off, where it's like, oh, the 5 kind of just is designed to be asking for resolution. And then that kind of makes some more sense. Hello, Joy. Oh, it's Joy. Thanks for joining us, Joy. We've been, communicating, and I'm sending some messages. I know Joy is traveling, and happy to have you join us. Wade, what do you got? Flat 7, major 7, I think. Yeah. So the major and the minor refers to the 7. Right. Yes. In that case, with the 4-part, with that stacked 4-part harmony, if I understand what you're saying, yeah. And sometimes, often we get confused on guitar between, like, wait, are we talking about the major and the minor flavor of the chord, or the major and the minor flavor of the note, like of the chord, the scale degree, the interval? So there's a lot of stuff where it overlaps. And in this case, I'll just be talking about the flavor of the chord. So in terms of the 7th degree, the B, that's a major 7 right there. And if I flat the 7, that's when you'll hear flat 7. But I'll try to clear that up as I go without taking us too far off, because I can very much go on tangents, and I'll try to not do that. Let's have a breath mint, as it were. Let's do a round of Future Star, because honestly, when I did this round of Future Star and nobody answered anything in the chat because I wasn't actually live, it sort of bummed me out a bit. So I think you're ready. Are you ready? You're ready. Future Star. All right, who's got it? Galen, you can't answer. You've seen this before. You're not allowed to answer. Who's got it? Who's got it? Who knows? You're getting a clue. You're getting a sense of who it could be. Whoa! All right, who had it? Who had it? Anybody? Anybody? I'm on the delay here on the stream. I'm watching the chat. Did anyone guess it? Yeah, Galen wasn't allowed to guess. Galen's seen that one before. Da 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 da. It was Dolly. Do you know that Dolly Parton, last I heard, she's written like 4,000 or 5,000 songs, like just thousands of songs. And she wrote "I Will Always Love You." There's an amazing podcast about her where it talks about when she was leaving her former manager. Was it Porter Wagner? Famous sort of like host of like a old time country variety show when they would wear all the rhinestone suits and everything. And he helped get her start, but he was definitely like the lead guy, and she was like the cameo sort of starlet who was on the rise, and she knew it was time to, you know, forge her own path. And so she wrote that song when she was driving, and she sang it to him a cappella just in his office, and be like, and I will always love you, as a way of saying, like, thank you for everything you gave me. And like, it's pretty intense, pretty amazing. She is a national treasure. Exactly. That's exactly right. Didn't get it, but we were like, all right, Dolly, last night movie, was that 9 to 5, or was it? And 9 to 5 is a good movie. And again, you in that podcast, you learn about what it was like, how she wrote that song and got involved in the making of that classic film. Yeah, cranking them out. Yeah, she's a fascinating just human being when you learn about her work ethic and everything like that. But I know y'all are working hard, and you may see at the top of this chat, way at the beginning when you guys were trying to figure out where I was, there is a link to, I just came up with it this morning, the idea that what I'm teaching right now is best digested with actual using it. So know that as we go through this talk a little bit more, we do the theory, I want to get it into the ear and into the fingertips. So this upcoming week, I'm going to be doing some live stream workouts. And my members know these workouts well because we do them just about every weekday. I'll go live, and for 15 minutes, I'll put on this like sort of silly timer here. And the crowd goes wild. We do a warm up, we do a workout, and we sort of do a free play, just sort of jam at the end of it. And people have been enjoying how it allows them to just jump in, whatever's going on in their life, and they can just get 15 minutes of playing guitar under their belt and cross that off the list. So the theme of this upcoming week will be chord progressions, and we're going to go one key at a time. And we're going to take the caged keys. I know our good friend CageBot approves, I believe, because once you get through about 5 of these keys, you'll see the pattern. You'll see it's a recipe. You'll see it's a template where it's like, oh, I get it. Like, just like what I did on the iPad, it'll be like that. We'll basically have, oh, that's the 1 chord for this key. Oh, that's, the 5 chord. And then playing that and seeing it and sort of getting acquainted with it, then you'll feel like, I got C. I got that key. I got the key of G down. And then you'll be off to the races, and you'll be able to just navigate whatever comes next, rather than just giving you all 12 keys and just, giving you the encyclopedia and then saying, all right, now go play. It's like, to me, that's where the disconnect can sometimes happen. So if you're interested at all, and if you're not a member, hit the link, and then you'll be signed up to join us on those live streams, because they're not going to be publicly on YouTube. They're going to be unlisted. So you either need to be a member or part of this like generous preview series to check out what we're doing. And I hope you do. I hope you take me up on it. And if we're ready, let's dive into a little bit more of this. And why don't I give you a couple of sort of quick sort of quizzes within the key of C. So let me see if we can get back here. So boom, right there. It's sort of chopped off there. I'll go to this one right here. Okay, so we're in the key of C. All right, I'm going to play a chord progression. You can use the reference right there on the screen and tell me what we got. So you can see the chords that I'm playing with the magical dancing dots. So how about somebody in the chat just give us the letter names, right? Can you give us the letter name and whether it's major or minor? So the first chord is a C. You could be playing along with this. Let's spell out this chord progression using letters first. So we got C, G, that's correct, 760 Piper, A, F. Now can we spell it out with numbers? And you can totally use just regular numbers or Roman numerals. So it's 1, 5, 6, 4. So that makes total sense, right? I'm just stopping it quickly there because like, oh, I heard the chords. I went to my guitar and I sounded it out. I followed along with what I was hearing. And from my findings, I found that he was playing a C, and then he went to a G chord, and then he went to an A chord, and I tried major, and I tried minor, and it was minor. I was pretty sure that that was matching it. And then it went to that chord. Oh, so it went 1, 5, 6, 4. Now you've got yourself the progression. So 1, 5, 6, 4 would be the progression there. Now here's where it gets fun on guitar. You've got a system, you've got a pattern. Now you can take that and slide it anywhere, just using the exact same stuff from muscle memory, right? So you got that movement right there. If I were to spell out those chord changes just using the root note of each one of those chords, so in this case a C to a G, this is like playing the bass line, right? An A to an F. I think you and I can remember where those dots are in relation to each other. Like, I feel like we can like use our brain power and be like, okay, that's kind of what that looks like on a fretboard. All right. So now if somebody says, okay, play me a 1, 5, 6, 4, but we're not in C, we're going to be in the key of F. So all you got to do, in fact, we'll switch colors, is find, oh, it's the exact same relationship. It's the exact same spacing, right? Look, it's the exact same shape. Oh. And what's great about that is that you can find the shape, you can find the right chords, you can be playing the right notes, and then figure it out later and be like, oh, what was I doing there? I know it was right because I know I could trust, you know, these spaces, and I know that a 1 chord, if that's my 1 chord, then the 5 chord's going to be right there. You're allowed to do that. You got my permission to do that and enjoy that. It's then being able to be like, well, what was that? Then you've got this system here with the brain stuff to be able to do it. Here's something that's also very important. Major. This is C major. Can somebody tell me what is the relative minor to C major? What is the relative minor of C major? Yeah, the T progression. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, John. Yeah, and that's what I like on the guitar is that we get these T shapes and L shapes. And as I say often, it's like, whatever gets you there. Whatever gets you there. I made a little sort of guitar jingle with it. And then if you're enjoying just using the shape, that's great. And if that gets you where you need to go, that's great. But the moment you're like, wait, but what am I doing? What are the letter names? That's where you'll need some help to like, oh, okay, I can reinforce it with this stuff. Because we never want to have to try to memorize a million different things. We want to have a few things that is sort of our master key to unlock all the different shapes, right? So yeah, the relative is going to be the 6th degree of the scale. So if you didn't know that, now you do. It's going to be within your major scale, the 6th note, the 6th chord, the 6th spot of the 7. That's your relative minor. And perhaps you know already why that matters is because, you know, for a million different reasons that's useful. But whenever I'm, you know, talking to my students about like, well, you've got your major pentatonic and your minor pentatonic. Let's say if we're let's say if we're in C. So if we're in C major up here, to find our minor pentatonic, that's our famous box 1. So that'd be kind of like a C minor. There's our C, and then we've got that familiar pattern there. If we wanted to make that a C major chord, now we need C major pentatonic. The easiest way to find that is to take that same shape and slide it down here, right? Let me just scribble that out real quick. I'll use a better color there. Okay, so just real quickly, scribbled. So that right there is our C major pentatonic. There's a C, there's a C, there's a C, right? What what scale do we usually see that as? When we see that, we usually think, ah, A minor. I'll answer for you because you know it, and this is what the internet loves to teach is A minor pentatonic. Those are the exact same notes. The exact same notes of a C major scale are the exact same notes of an A minor scale. The exact same notes of a C major pentatonic are the exact same notes of an A minor pentatonic. They're good to know because you get 2 for 1. You're going to want to know how they relate to each other, and you're going to want to know them well enough so that you can emphasize the A minorness and really hit those A notes with some conviction to ground it in that A minor sound versus when you're playing a C major. So I just wrote that right there to say relative major and minor. It's another great thing that you get just by knowing the major scale. Is that making sense? How are we feeling about that? Do we need to put on some cool down music? Whew. Whew. Another round of Future Star. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Let's see here. I think it's time for us to watch Tony surf. Tony's not been surfing recently, but he was surfing on this day. Yeah, get it, Tony. Woo! Oh, and he got the barrel. That's right. I love my boy, and he's a hard-working dude. Who am I, by the way? If you're wondering who I am and you're just joining us here, like you've been checking out some of my content out in the world, my name's Tim Fagan. I did earned that platinum record from playing with Colby Calais back in the day. And I was her music director, band leader, guitarist, backup singer, the whole thing, which was great because not only did it allow me to like play and enjoy the gigging, but being the music director was that my job was to put together the set list and, you know, get everyone in the band coordinated with our arrangements and how we were going to do different versions of the songs for like, you know, the TV appearances or the acoustic version. So songwriting and production is my jam, but guitar is my first love. And what I love about teaching this this style of online courses is that it's allowed me to just geek out about guitar and all the stuff that I spent some time through the years on gigs and in music school and all that, but to try to like bring it to an audience like yourselves of self-taught guitarists, all ages, all backgrounds, where you're just feeling like, I love this instrument and I want to take it to the next level. And I know this is the part where I talk about the things I offer and all that, but I really love this. And I love like finding ways, and I'm trying to get better to say it faster so that it unlocks something for you where you just want to play every day. So it turns out that I thought I was going to be making a lot of these like guitar courses that people just go check out on their own time and like, wow, they can dive deep into music theory and blah, blah, blah. It's much more, I find, effective to do these quick workouts that we're doing almost every day of the week. And we have this back and forth where I'm doing live streams. I can find out what people want more of. We've had some great conversations this week where I've had one-to-one talks with some of my members just to figure out what they're excited to learn, you know, next. And we do weekly Zoom hangs, and all these things bring it more about community, about momentum, and about keeping it very live and alive, so that like guitar is just something that when you think of, you don't feel guilty, like, I should be doing that, or that's right, I can't remember the last time I worked on this scale. It's like, it's more just like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see what I'll learn today. So I'm digging where we're headed with it. And I created this sort of corny but fun little 30-second song about who is this dude? Check it out.
Wait, who is this dude?
Honolulu back in 1993. Boy in his bedroom playing Stevie and the Weeds. One day he's gonna move out to LA, gonna tour around the world getting paid to play. He wrote Lucky and he won a Grammy. John Mayer shouted him out in a magazine. Still playing that guitar every single day, making records in Nashville with Lolly and Tony. It's nice to meet you. He could be your teacher.
All right. Who is that dude? Some days I wake up and I don't even know myself. Tell me, what kind of guitar are you playing? What if you got your guitar in your hands? Like, what brand is it? Does your guitar have a name? What color is it? This is my new MIDI guitar. I just got it for myself for Christmas, and I'm loving the ability that it has to Not only do the dots on the screen, but I haven't really even messed around yet with what I can do with it to control MIDI. Like, just played a random chord that makes no sense, but let's say if I turn down the volume on the actual guitar and then try to turn up the volume on the... See, I'm playing Rhodes now. It's crazy, right? I mean, who needs it? I don't know. I can do anything, obviously. I can control, you know. This is turned down way too low. So that'll be fun to mess with. Taylor GS Mini, Kent, nice. Love the Taylors. Yeah, the MIDI guitar doesn't yet have a name. I'm holding off on calling it something related to Blues Clues because people, rightfully so, have joked that some of my YouTube videos so far have been like, what is this, Blues Clues for guitar? And it's like, yeah, it kind of is, because welcome to my brain. It's more, I'm probably trying to channel a little bit of the Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse vibe. And but it's got this light bluiness to it. I didn't have a light blue guitar. I didn't want to have it not stand out in my collection. Squire Bullet Strat, nice, Michael. Is that one of the more, what's the bullet aspect of it? Because my first guitar was a Squire, that's many moons ago, and I've been hearing that the Squire guitars are getting a really good reputation these days of like being really, you know, well made, which I think they've always been pretty great, but it sounds like the quality is really standing out for people now. PRS Custom SE today, nice. Stratotelli later, nice. Custom SE, I'm trying to think. Yeah, was that the one you were playing when we were talking? Yeah, I'm so late to the party with the Tellys, but I love the Telly style guitar that I got, you know, at this point, about 1.5 years or 2 years ago. American Strat, nice, Matt, love it. Yeah, my first guitar was a Squire, and then I saved up my lifeguarding money to buy Professor Soulsworth, which is the actual name of the silver Strat. It's in the living room. But yeah, I've had that forever and I love it. And it's an American-made Strat, and that was a huge leap forward in my sense of like, I'm doing it for real. Yamaha Narrow Neck Acoustic, all right. Nice, Tony, love it. Yeah, I've been playing more acoustic. I don't know if you've seen from my members the last couple streams. I've done so many gigs in the past, acoustic, playing covers at bars and restaurants, as I joke, like Showbiz starts over by the salad bar, the guy with the tip jar, that was me. But the acoustic is really fun. I've got this sort of setup with my Ableton thing where I can loop with it and play bass. Anyway, it's fun to sort of mix and match. Guitar friend Joe, good to see you, nice. GWOD in MIDI, nice, all right. I like it. So you've got a different screen name now, Guitar Friend Joe, or was that what you had before? Anyway, Joe, I've gotten to know from, he's a great player, and he sent me a video of him playing with the Meatloaf tribute band, and they gave him a, rightfully so, a featured performance to do a solo with a backing track, and it was really cool, and like really high energy and great dexterity and ripping up the neck. I will try to rock out a little bit more. Sometimes the teaching lends itself to playing the clean tones, but I like turning up when I can, when the neighbors allow it. What else we got here? Oh, the thinner bodies. That's fun. Yeah, I like that sound too. The Corey Wong guitar, that's the first one that I was familiar. I haven't played one yet, but when I was learning about it, it seems like it's a slightly smaller, and I don't know if that's a similar type as the Bullet, but I'm intrigued by the different, like, when the body is a little bit lighter and different wood and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm just trying to enable myself to get more guitars. But for the moment, famous last words, for the moment, I think I'm okay. I think I'm good. Cheapest, nice. Just looked it up, love it. Bullet equals cheapest, love it. I love a good deal. Literally, I was looking up some guitars almost to try to make people slightly angry. Like, you know, they got these guitars that are like $100 and they look like a crazy, you know, like 335 or something like that, with like, you know, the kind that probably are made of very flammable ingredients, but just for the camera appeal. We'll see. Let's do a little bit more of this chord progression stuff. In fact, let's switch more now into kind of like a ear training type of thing. I'll put this screen back up. Ooh, the wide cam. I still don't know how my own buttons work. So just to make it a little bit simpler as far as the numbering. 5, 6, 7. So You can answer in the chat either with the regular numbers or the Roman numeral numbers, and we'll stay in the key of C. So we'll just stay in the key of C, and I want you to feel like if you're hearing a song, this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll dive into some chord progressions, and I want you to play it and then drop it into the chat to answer. And again, as always on my channel, like we're just feeling things out, we're making mistakes, and I'd love it if someone already answers the right answer, you should answer it in your own words, in your own way too, just to work that kind of like confirm that you got your brain and your hands working together. So, see, what was I gonna write? Oh, start with find the roots. If you're like lost, find the roots, and that's like the bass line. So if you hear me doing like, try to listen closely and be like, and you got the dancing dots, so I'm kind of letting you see what's going on, but like try to be like, try to hum it. So if I'm listening to something on Spotify, I'm like, I try to hum the bass line, find that as root notes, and then you can spell, just spell the chords based on knowing what we've got this chart here. But as you start to get, so you don't need the chart, then you'll just have it internalized. And I'll talk about that a bit after we jam here. But so if you're looking for a way to find this, find the roots, spell the chords, and then, you know, numbers. Just numbers and letters. I'm just saying that generally to be like, then you can be like, you know, that's a C to an F to a G to an A minor. That works. You could also be saying that's a 1 to a 4 to a 5 to a 6 or whatever. But just start there to sort of spell it out. All right. So, in fact, I'm going to turn off the dots so you won't be able to see exactly what I'm playing. I'm going to play something in C though. So what do we got here? I'll give you clues as we go. It's like those trivia questions that reveal more and more. It's a 4-chord progression. The first one is on the 1 chord. What are we working with here? We got a 1 chord to a 4 chord, to a 2 chord, to a 5 chord. All right. Did we get that? I didn't see any activity in the chat. I didn't lose you all there, did I? Did everyone just fall asleep? I always get a little bit self-conscious when I do things that are more theoretical in nature, but we're trying to apply it. So let's say if I give you another one here. Let's say we start it here. What's that? Just 3 chords. We're still in C major. Okay, so find the root notes. We're on to a new progression. Use your ear and find those notes. Yeah, I took the dots away. It's good to see that the dots are working. So I've given you the crayons in the box, as it were. They're only going to be choosing from those notes and those chords that you see, right? And we're only grabbing 3 of them. Nice, Renee. Yeah, exactly. So that's a 6 to a 5 to a 1. Boom, 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 boom. So if you did that and you're like, okay, that's an A, that's a G, and that's a C, just finding the roots, then you could look at that chart and be like, okay, oh, that means the A is going to be a minor, the G is going to be major, the C is going to be major. And I like how that sounds. To me, that sounds like kind of a riff or something. Here's another one that I like as well. And this is another one that doesn't start on the one chord, like doesn't start on C. And it can be really good to start to get familiar with, like, not always expecting, oh, the song is in C, so it better start on C or it better finish on C. You're going to find ones that are nicely sort of not that way. So here's one. So very similar to the last one, but now we've got 4 chords, and it's just going to loop. And we're still in C. You might be able to say that we're kind of in A minor also. Remember, they're relative, so they're kind of, it's sort of like player's choice as far as how you decide to look at it. Okay, so can we spell this out using the roots? That's a D to a C, and then a G to an A. So D minor to C major, G major to A minor. I love it, Wade. I see what you're doing there. Keep working out the ideas, though. So it starts on D, goes to C, G, and I kind of like that one. I actually used that progression in a song. Shout out to me. Actually, it's a song that I like a lot, and I can't play it for you because the irony is that if I put on Spotify right now, it would copyright strike me of me against myself. I don't know if I can like click a box somewhere, but last week when I did a little bit of Wanted Dead or Alive, there was a section where I was like trying to learn a bit of that on the stream. YouTube, they do what they do. It's not saying like, how dare they? I kind of knew they would, but now that I'm actually monetized, I hit the threshold recently, woohoo, to get my pennies for the ads or whatever it is. But they basically said like, hey, that little snippet where you used Bon Jovi, we're going to take all the money for the whole hour-long video. It's like, that's how they roll. They don't mess around. So if I were to put on my own stuff, but if you do want to check it out, Tim Fagan, Hot Coffee is the name of that song. And it's got this really cool, it's in E. In the folds on the roof of my mouth, I ain't got no feeling now. And it goes on like that, sort of like a slow jam. 2, 1, 5, 6, indeed. You got it, Galen. Nice work, everybody. How are we feeling on this stuff? Use an emoji to express how you're feeling about chord progressions at this moment. And be honest, it's okay. It's okay if this stuff is a little bit like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, no, Wade, you're good. You fire away. I love more answers and I love being able to talk about it. So if you're ever watching and I say your name and I say, oh, close but no cigar or whatever, like just treat it like a fun, easy game show. And if anyone wants to act a fool and start being mean to people, they're gone. So we just keep it friendly and upbeat. That's our vibe. Yeah, exactly. Maybe I should figure out a way to like copyright strike on myself and then I'll get some ad and be like, ooh, Tim Fagan just took guitar friend Tim's money, but ha ha ha. It's a good point. I might need to work that out. All right, cool. We're feeling all right. I don't want to give you more information necessarily, but I do want to say that like, if you were to take from today's stream, like the risks that we run sometimes is thinking that, oh, okay, so all I got to make sure I do is that I got to make sure I have this chart in front of me with all this information, whether it's this information I put out today or one of those very handy and cool, like sort of wheels that will pop the different chords into the windows that show you that kind of stuff. And that is useful. I know Galen has one of those and I've looked into getting one. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I think you've seen them where it's like, you know, the circle of fifths and it's got all these different chord relationships and you can kind of just say, all right, I'm in this key and you can spin something around or slide the paper underneath it and it'll show you like, oh, then this would be this and ba, 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 all these combinations sort of come forward. I really like those as a thing to reference, to be like, okay, I'm in the middle of this song and I'm not sure what is what. So it's a good thing to sort of check your math. It's also a good thing for inspiration to be like, I want to write a song and mess around with some chords, and it can be a jumping off point to be like, oh, it looks like from this chart, if I went from the 1 to the 4 to the 5, it would be this, and that. So they really make that faster. But the catch is it's an external thing. And that seems obvious, but externally, when we have information like that, it's really good as a reference point, a good way to analyze things when we're sort of at the chalkboard, as it were, the digital chalkboard here. But it's not in our head and in our hands. And so to internalize something is really, really useful, because that's the stuff that you can pull up at song speed. You're not necessarily going to be able to, in the middle of a song or a jam session, look over at one of these charts and be able to even decipher it quickly enough to pull up the stuff you need. But if you get a few of these pieces, little by little workouts, and again, sign up for the free workouts that we're going to be doing next week, all about these chord progressions, then you'll start to be like, oh, okay, I don't know everything, but I do know that when I'm in C, oh, okay, that's my 1, 6, 2, 5. And I know that if I'm on guitar, I can pull that sneaky and wonderful trick that if somebody says, all right, it's C sharp, it's like, all right, I don't have time right away to figure out whether it's C sharp and do I call that B flat or would I call that A sharp? It's fine. I just got the shape. Good to go. And you have this blend of just using it in your hands with a little bit more information each day, of just biting off some more of these patterns and shapes. So it's different than memorizing. I say internalize because internalize means it's there when you need it in your actual hands and fingers, whereas memorize might be more like spitting out facts and having things that are more like sort of mental and verbal. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to throw at you today. If you sign up just for the free workouts, and it was just an idea I had, so I haven't even done the live workouts yet. You'll be joining us live on Monday, and that will not be on public YouTube. It'll be unlisted, so you will be kind of allowed to like scope out these really cool workouts as we do them next week. And we're going to do, in fact, I have a little graphic here that, look at this handy dandy graphic. It's based off of the one that I did for the stream. 5 keys to unlock cage. Get it? Keys, ka-clink, get out of that cage. No, I'm embracing the CageBot thing here. It's good. In fact, if I had had more time, I'd have CageBot popping up right now and being like, cage detected. But yes, what I'm getting at with this is that 5 days, we'll do C, we'll do G, we're going to go in a sequence that makes sense. And the goal is that if you get this meat and potatoes understanding of the major scale for C and the harmonized major scale for C, and then you move to another key, you'll start to see the pattern emerge where it's like, oh, I'm just doing the same thing. And then you can take it through all 12 keys if you want, but there's no problem at all in just having keys that you know better than others. So on guitar, we like C, we like E, we like G, we like them not just because they're nice, even letters that don't have flats or sharps. It's because they fit the guitar well. And so if you have your choice, it's okay to choose, well, I like to play an A. Well, then if you're going to like to play an A a lot, you should know what chords go with A, for example, in A major. And you should know that F sharp minor is the relative minor, and have those be your kind of like, boom, I got it locked in. And this will help everyone, members and non-members alike, to sort of be like, okay, we're going to take this one at a time. And then by the time we hit the 5th day, you'll be like, I get it. I got it. That's awesome. I know how to take it from here. That's what I want for you. Questions, comments, feelings, concerns, anybody, hit me with them. I'll check the chat here. Thanks, Tony. Cool, fun, and so intriguing. I got to figure out a thing that I can like have the comments pop up on the screen, but y'all can see it. Some of the spaghetti sticking. I like that. The spaghetti test is always my favorite analogy. Just throw the spaghetti. I haven't done that in a while, actually. I think sometimes I think of it too late, and it's like spaghetti's too hot. But like that was so fun. Like when my parents, like back in the day, would be like, "All right, it's time to test the spaghetti." Like, what do you mean? It's like, we're gonna take it, we're gonna throw it, and see if it sticks to the ceiling. I'm like, this is the best. Like, I'm gonna remember this. I'm allowed to throw my food. Glad you're enjoying it, Michael. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for hanging with us, Kent. You probably already split, but glad you're here. And thanks to everyone who was able to stick around through. Apparently, I wasn't live. I was doing this whole spiel for like 45 minutes and being like, no, the chat's really kind of quiet today. I must have really bummed them out with this theory tangent I've gone on. But the tangents just kept on coming when I came back. So I'll get this graphic out of the way. But yeah, to sign up for that, hit the link that's pinned at the top of the chat. And then there's also the 5-day skills challenge, which is different. And that's great too. That covers like the basics of finding the root names really quickly on the 5th and the 6th string, finding the major, minor, pentatonic. And it's a 5-day sequence of just like overall guitar kind of basics. Because I think once you get that foundation and you're ready for more, the thing that we're doing in the community is just all about that kind of, okay, where next? How do I keep going? And building on that foundation and keeping it fun. Sounds obvious, but a lot of times we get these pieces here, there, and everywhere with different YouTube videos. And it's like, all right, how does this go together? What do I practice next? And with these chords, it's like, all right, I like this chord progression, but how do I play the next chord and know whether or not it's going to work? This is how you know. Last question I have for my members before I let you go into your weekend. Are you daring to share? Are you planning to dare to share? And if you don't know, you got 3 days left in the end of the month to share some of your playing in the members area. Make a video of yourself playing along with one of the backing tracks, or honestly, whatever you're working on. And then just do an unlisted video on YouTube so you can drop the link into our main feed there. And we'll be able to see it, cheer you on, and you will be entered to win not the worst looper pedal in the world, but I'm looking at it now. Sorry, buddy. It's the most no-name adequate looper that I got off of Amazon for like $20. I wanted to find the cheapest looper so that if I get more into looping, I can say, hey, don't worry about it. You can get one for, this one might have been too cheap, but it'll be yours if you dare to share and you win the random drawing. So if you're not a member, sign up. You get a 14-day free trial. You could hop in. You could dare to share. You might win it, and then you'd be like, "Screw you guys, I'm out of here." And that's okay. That's fair game. If you want to do that, that's fine. We hope you stick around. But to my members, don't be afraid to be a little bit afraid. That's the fun of sharing. You get those good butterflies. You get those good nerves, and we get the good vibes. So thanks for hanging with all the technical glitches here today. Any other questions, let me know in the chat now. Otherwise, I'll kind of like fade out here and let you do your thing. The challenges are good, Wade. I agree. I enjoy the challenge of coming up with new ways to try to find stuff that clicks with y'all. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you enjoying the workouts. Yeah. I'm not much of a football fan, but y'all got any high hopes and dreams for the games tomorrow? I mean, I should jump on the bandwagon and be a Lions guy in the fact that I went to school in Michigan. Doesn't really feel sincere, but when does that ever stop me? I could just hop in there and be, let's go Lions, learn a couple names of the players and have a few brewskis. Thanks for hanging out, Renee. Thank you all for checking out this stream. And yeah, if you want, reach out with any questions. You can always reach me. Even if you're not a member, just send an email to tim@guitarfriendtim.com. And that'd be great. Hope to see you around. And that'll do it. But, I don't think it would be right if we left here without doing one more round of Tony Surfing! Oh, Tony boy! Good work, everybody. Keep on being awesome out there, you know what I mean? Doop, 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 doop. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Wade. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Galen. Thanks, Kent. Thanks.